Hi everyone and welcome to episode 76 of the Talk is Cheap show. Hope you're all well, healthy and COVID free. Thanks to everyone for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. Today we have another excellent show lined up for you, during which we will discuss Arsenal's last games since our last show, Arsenal's late season winning run, Arteta's alleged comments on Arsenal players. We will ask you a week later, do you feel any different from how you felt last week after our humiliating Europa League exit? Does the manager still have a future at the club in your view? But before we proceed with the rest of the show, please indulge me while I formally introduce my co-host, analyst and friend. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to reacquaint you with the former professional footballer turned YouTube sensation and influencer of international renown. Ladies and gentlemen, the gargantuan, the gallant, the game, the gracious, the grandiose, the gregarious, the gritty, the straight gangster. Ladies and gents, please give a digital round of applause for Mr. Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, yeah, I swear, they're legendary. You're saying words I've literally never heard of. What an intro, man. No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. And, it's Arsenal, isn't it? So there's always lots to talk about. But no, I love the intro, man. I think the people love the intro. It's legendary now.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. But you know what? This show is going to be short and snappy. It's not like we've got loads to talk about. But we're trying to keep it, short and snappy and entertaining. So without any further ado, man, let's kick things off. Let's get things started by talking about Arsenal's last game since the last show. And those of you out there, I'm sure you'll probably be aware, we played 2 games since the last show. The first of these games was a game against West Brom at home. Of course, Arsenal were coming off the back of the Europa League humiliation, has to be said. So this was a game in which no doubt the players and the managers was keen to show a good side, keen to get back to winning ways. And the game was interesting because West Brom also needed the win because they were facing relegation if they lost. So, they were up for the game. In the end, Arsenal ran out fairly comfortable 3-1 winners. The key moments of the game, I made some notes here. 29 minutes, good team move. Ended up with Saka assisting Emil Smith-Rowe. Finished off very well there. So that puts 1-0 up. 35 minutes, a stunning left foot strike, courtesy of Nicolas Pepe. Great goal that. 67 minutes, a good individual goal by West Brom's best player, Pereira. He had a good game. He impressed. Very good goal there. So that made it 2-1. And then, of course, the 90th minute, Curtis's favourite player, the man who Curtis touted on this show relentlessly, last season. He managed to get his first goal for the club in his 36th league game. Willian, a collector's item, real wonder strike to make it 3-1. So Arsenal effectively relegated West Brom and, ran out comfortable winners in the end. Curtis, what was your thoughts on that game, bro?
Do you know what, Laurie? I think I got more annoyed every goal that we scored because I'm just sitting there like, where was that on Thursday? Where was that goal on Thursday? We just couldn't find it. I call Arsenal no pressure FC because when there's no pressure, we're a proper football team, And this was typical Arsenal, man. No pressure. We look like, prime Invincibles Arsenal, but Sam Allardyce relegated. I thought that was probably a step too far, that job for him. And it was 3 points, but it didn't mean too much. And like you said, Willian waits, 36 games to get his first goal.
Yeah.
It's too little too late, I think.
Was it worth the wait? Because it was a bit of a wonder strike.
Do you know what? If he'd have scored that against Villarreal the week before, I would have forgiven him for the previous 35. But doing it against West Brom in a nothing game, it was a great goal, but meant very little, let's be honest.
Kind of sums us up, really, didn't he? What do you think of because Pepe took a bit of stick, didn't he? Because let's be honest, man, he scored a wonder strike, But then he ran over to the camera and started celebrating. I don't know quite what that was about, but some people were saying, listen, man, you know what I mean? That was pretty inappropriate, you know what I mean? Where was that all season? Although, to be fair to Pepe, he's been playing well recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been all right. I think he did the old Eddie and Nketiah thing again, innit? You know, you've scored. No one's really that bothered, and you're pointing at cameras, and you know the fans aren't really in the mood for that right now. You know, I think he got carried away with the goal a little bit and forgot about the previous week.
Yeah, it was a great goal, but I do understand some people being a bit reticent and saying, "Look, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Get back and start playing again." But what do you think of the manager? He's the way he looked, kind of, sort of reinforced what you were saying. He looked pretty pissed off, didn't he?
Yeah.
I could read his mind. It was almost as if he was saying, "Why didn't you lot do this last week?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was quite an interesting dynamic to see him doing that, actually. Because he didn't cheer on any of the goals. And he sat there, he was quite stoic and quite straight-faced and looked almost a bit pissed off. What do you think about that?
I think, look, Mikel Arteta will be aware of what's being said on social media and the general feeling. I'm sure the press officer would have said to him, listen, man, if you score today, just don't show too much emotion because people like me will be hammering him, you know? So I think he knew to just keep the emotions very low. And I actually think Arteta's beginning to look quite stressed out in the last few weeks. I think it's taking its toll on him a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we're going to come on to him later because there were comments attributed to him that he seemed to get pretty pissed off about in one of his post-match interviews. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so on to the second game then. The second of the two games. Now, this one was a far more difficult proposition on paper, wasn't it? I mean, a midweek trip across town to one of our London rivals, away game against Chelsea. Chelsea were looking for the 3 points because obviously they want to qualify for the Champions League through the league. So it was an important game for them. And I would say it was an important game for us as well, because listen, as I said before, we had that Europa League humiliation, and it was important that the players and the manager sort of put in a couple of performances that are worthy of the name and try and win back some of the goodwill that they'd lost against Villarreal. So I thought it was an important game. Some people might say, oh, what does it matter? But I thought that this was quite an important game. And yeah, man, and so you would have thought that given that Chelsea had a lot more to play for than us, that Chelsea would have been the favourites and that they would have run out the winners. However, it didn't quite play out like that. And as we've seen many times this season, in this strangest of seasons in the Premier League, the predicted winners didn't get the result that they were looking for. But yeah, so on to the game then. So an hour before kickoff, as usual, we're waiting for the team to come out. And then Arsenal announced the team. I think they went with a 3-4-2-1, and I'll just go through it. They had Leno in goal, a back three of Gabriel, Mari, and Holding, midfield of Tierney, Partey, Elneny, and Saka. Just in front of those, you had Emil Smith-Rowe and Odegaard, and then the lone wolf up front, Aubameyang. Now, what was your thoughts on the team and the formation, bro?
Do you know what was interesting? Because Arsenal, when you think about it, we won the FA Cup last season playing three at the back. And Arteta said at the end of the season he wanted to go to 4 because he thought it was easier to be a bit more open and expansive. So when I saw us go to that 3, number one, I thought, is this copy and paste tactics again? Because Thomas Tuchel plays 3 at the back. So you probably thought, I'm going with 3. But I kind of understood it. I was a bit disappointed that Pepe didn't start because I thought, you know, he's just scored a great goal. Every time it seems like he's building a little bit of form, bang, he gets dropped for no reason. You know, maybe pointing at the camera sent Arteta over the edge, you know. So, no, but 3 at the back was, I kind of understood it against Chelsea because they play that formation. So, like for like. But yeah, it was, I wasn't too surprised.
So you wasn't too disappointed with the team, or was it that you just didn't care anymore? What was it?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not as caught up as I was the week before, you know. I'm just going through the motions now.
Yeah. Okay, so to the game itself. To be honest with you, I thought it was a bit of a rear guard action from the start, to be honest. basically, I thought we got a bit lucky. We got in 16th minute there. There was a horrible back pass, if that's what it was, from Jorginho, wasn't it? The goalkeeper scrambled, tried to keep the ball back out of the net. It fell quite fortuitously to Aubameyang. He then squared it to Emil Smith-Rowe, who somehow mishit it, but it still managed to find its way in the corner of the net. So maybe that was kind of symptomatic of our luck. Because up until then, I thought Chelsea had started quite brightly. And they'd missed quite an easy chance at courtesy of Havertz, didn't they? So then we get that goal, and then we find ourselves hanging on for the rest of the game pretty much. Pretty much Chelsea had by far the majority of the possession. I think it was something like about 70% overall to our 30. And I think they had like 19 shots on goal to our 5. But we somehow managed to keep them out. I mean, to be fair, we did defend well, and we did show some resilience in there. So I was pleased about that. But you know what? We got the win, and I wasn't expecting to win, if I'm being honest. So I think that's a plus. So I was quite encouraged by that. What was your thoughts on the game, bro? Your overall thoughts on the game?
I got to be honest, I think we were very lucky to win that game. But listen, I don't mind. I'll accept it. All luck is accepted over here. I think, like you said, we were fortuitous with a goal. Jorginho, I don't know what he's doing. And to be honest, it was like we parked the bus, didn't we, for the rest of the game? You know, we hardly created another chance after that. And I think Chelsea hit the bar twice. Mason Mount had one cleared. Leno made a great save from Zuma. You know, they were all over us. So I think a fortuitous win. But I think at the same time, you know, I heard Thomas Tuchel after the game saying that he made a mistake by making 7 changes, because they've actually put themselves under pressure now to get top 4 when you think they've got Leicester and Villa in their last 2 games. Liverpool beat United, you know, so it's nice to hear a manager taking responsibility for his mistakes sometimes, you know. I'll leave it at
that. I sense that there's a little bit of a bit of shade going on there, you know what I mean? But listen, you know what? I mean, like I said before, listen, we didn't play that well, but we did defend well, and we did show a bit of resilience, and we got the win. And let's be honest, man, we've beaten Chelsea twice in a season. The first time I'm thinking about 17 years, I think it is. So there's something to be encouraged there, isn't there? What do you think?
Yeah, listen, this is one of the worst Arsenal teams in decades, and we still take 6 points off Chelsea. So, you know, that's something to be proud of. But no, listen, I thought the team showed resilience. I'll give them credit for that. Thought Smith-Rowe had a very good game. Showed a lot of fight. I thought Rob Holding actually played well. Yeah. And I don't say that too often, I'm going to be honest. And I thought Leno had a good game as well. So, no,
think, talking of Rob Holding, do you think he's one of these guys that kind of go under the radar a little bit? Because, I mean, you know, let's be honest, man. He's not like prime Baresi or anything like that, or, you know what I mean? But he's not Sergio Ramos type. But he's quite solid. He's quite dependable. And he looks like the kind of guy that the manager might have some trust in. And he started captaining the team now on occasion. So, you know what I mean? Maybe going forward, the manager sees something there. What do you think?
No, my problem with Rob Holding, if Rob Holding was like 4th, 5th choice centre-back at Arsenal, I would have no problem with him. My issue with Rob Holding is he's too close to the front of the queue. You know, he starts a lot of games for Arsenal, and I think at times you expose him. He's a half-decent defender, you know, he's okay. I think he's at his ceiling in terms of his talent. I don't think he's going to get much better than he is now. He's quite solid and dependable, but, you know, there's a reason we're mid-table, and some of these players are the reason for that. So, yeah, Holding.
It's fair to say that you're not overly infused.
No, I'm not. Would Holding get anywhere near Man City's team, you know, bench? I don't think he would. So, dependable, but good enough. Yeah, I'm not sure. Nothing more than a squad player for me at best.
Glowing
say it as it is, man.
Oh, you don't say. Okay, all right. And so, listen, we got the win, and the post-match press conference was interesting because it had emerged before the game that, well, I don't know how to quite phrase this. I don't want to be unfair to anybody, but okay, it was alleged that Mikel Arteta had been quite critical of some of the players. I saw a caption on one of the news outlets that he'd said that some players had not given their all for Arsenal this season. And that caused some consternation amongst the fans, myself included, because I thought, rah, that's a bit of a weird one. Where's that come from? Like, and if you had said that, like, who are you talking about? That was the obvious inference, isn't it? If you make a statement like that to the press, the first thing the fans are going to be thinking of, well, who's he talking about? And you know what fans are like? They're going to start doing their own detective work. They're going to look at the team and say, well, he's not played much recently, so is he talking about this guy? Is he talking about Aubameyang? Is he talking about Bellerin, Cedric, Pepe? You know what I mean? Who is he talking about? But it was noticeable that in the post-match press conference and the interviews, he was very quick to say that he had not said that, and he seemed quite irate. He seemed quite angry. It's not often you see Mikel Arteta angry, but he did come across as quite, you know what I mean, irate. So what was your thoughts on that, bro? I mean, he denied it, but it did go out there. So a lot of people were speculating. What was your thoughts on it?
You know, sometimes you think, is it one of them ones, you know, it's been lost in translation. I didn't mean it like that, this, that, the other. I think when you look at the quotes, it seems as if he did say what they're saying he said, but he's somehow saying, I didn't mean that, or I didn't, you know, so you don't know whether he misunderstood the question.
To be fair to him, I think what he said is that he was saying that there were some of the players in the squad that he didn't think he could improve them anymore. As opposed to saying there were players in the squad that had not been given their all. But that is quite different, isn't it? I mean, listen, if he says that there are some players that he honestly thinks he can't go no further with them as players in the club, then I can see that. Still a bit of a bold thing to say. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to come out and say to the press. On the other hand, if you say that there are players in this team that are not giving their all, then obviously that kind of comment is going to cause quite a bit of a stir, which it obviously did. And he's going to be forced to defend that comment. And he's going to be forced, well, not forced, but pressure is going to come on him to name names, name and shame, basically. And there's also the school of thought, which is my school of thought. I don't know what you think, is that I don't really like to see managers airing out the players like that in public. You know what I mean? I think those kind of conversations should be hired behind closed doors. And that's how you deal with it. To come out and basically throw the players under the bus is not really the done thing. And it's ironic, really, because a lot of the people who saying things like they didn't want Mourinho and things like that, that is one of the reasons that they had cited why they didn't want Mourinho at the club, exactly for stuff like this. So, but anyway, he passionately denied it. You could see he was quite irate. He was quite upset. So personally, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and believe that he didn't say it. And if he did say it, maybe it was taken out of context. But yeah, man. Okay. Interested to hear your thoughts on that one. Other thoughts arising out of the game. So this little mini run we're on.
It is mini as well.
Or does it mean something? You know, I mean, listen, we could, given the way the results are panning out.
Don't do it.
But listen, man, mathematically, it's not impossible that we could finish 6th or at least 7th and gain route to this, what is it, Europa Conference League or something like that?
the Haribo Cup.
So these wins we're picking up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could mean something, you know what I mean? Or do you think it's too little too late and it doesn't matter a jot?
I mean, listen, if Arsenal were to get 6th, because look, I would rather be in Europe than not, but I wouldn't want to be in that Europa Conference League, whatever, you know. I don't even know. Do they show them games on TV? Is there a ref there? I don't even know what that competition is. But No,
Listen,
massively.
you're talking about. Let's stick on that for a minute. So, you're our football analyst and expert. So, I'm going to leave it up to you to tell the people a little bit about this Europa Conference League. What does it mean, and what does it entail?
So I think obviously UEFA have made another competition, a third one. They used to have the old Cup Winners' Cup back in the day. I think it's just a way of them not losing big teams out of Europe completely. So
I should call it the Europa safety net.
Yeah. It's for real, the real bums of Europe playing this competition. Do you know what I mean? The Super League don't look too bad now when you end up in the Conference League, does it? You know, but no. I think it's for the teams who finish 7th in their league. So it's the real creme de la creme of Europe, you know. And the team who finishes 4th in the Champions League group drops into it. I mean, the games will be on Thursday night, so we can still sort of pretend it's the Europa League. And maybe we'll be the first team to ever win it. But it's a real embarrassing competition, man. When you think we left Highbury to compete with Bayern Munich, and we're going to be playing against teams we've never heard of. You know, it's like I don't quite know how that worked out, but yeah, 7th place, and we've got a pretty good chance of getting it. That's the crazy thing. So we'll have to see.
Somebody in the office referred to. He said we're going to be playing teams in Europe with like Wi-Fi password names.
Yeah. Teams you've never heard of, man. I'm telling you. I think AFTV FC could be in that competition.
Mind you, the way we're playing at the moment, probably not.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, listen, mathematically, we could still finish 6th if the results play out. I mean, you've got teams around us dropping points left, right, and centre. So if West Ham, Everton, and Chelsea continue to drop points and so forth, then we might get in there. So it probably is a good thing that we've got a couple of games left, one of which we're going to talk about in a bit. But I mean, listen, I would like us to see us finish as strong as we can and win all the games, because naturally, as a fan, you want your team to win all the games left. Every game we compete in, we want us to win. However, I do feel like you do that, you know what I mean? Now that the pressure's off, you're starting to see one or two players play a little bit more freedom, and you know what I mean, maybe they don't handle pressure that well. Maybe that's part of the problem. But yeah, it was a good win against Chelsea, and hey man, we just got to hope that the former will continue. Another story that's arisen in the days after the game is the situation with Lacazette. It appeared that is he about to get offered a 1-year contract, people think?
1-year contract extension, yeah. So it will take. He's got a year left this summer, so they'll add another year and take it to 2.
What's your thoughts on that, bro? Would you like him to stay or what?
Do you know, I've got mixed feelings on Lacazette. On one hand, I really like him as a player. I think he gives everything. He's got good hold-up play, links up play very well, scores some important goals. Then on the other hand, I think this was a £50 million goal scorer that was supposed to be an upgrade on Olivier Giroud's numbers, you know, and he's never hit 15 league goals since he's been at Arsenal. So,
well, he still might. He's got 14 now.
He still might, yeah. There's 2 games left, and I think the injury interrupted him. He was actually playing quite well before he got injured. I think Arsenal have probably looked at it and said there aren't many top strikers available in the market. It's not a great market for strikers. Arsenal have got a lot of work to do in the transfer market. I think they've just took the route of let's stick with it for another year and maybe deal with it next year when we're in a better situation. So I can kind of understand it. And a year's not the end of the world, is it really? You know, it's not a long contract.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would like to see him stay another year. I mean, he is a good player. He is one of the better guys, I think, in the dressing room. And you know, I think his performances this season are probably worthy of him getting another year. So, yeah, I've got no problem with that, to be honest. Obviously, they'll be looking at players in the summer, and I'm sure strikers will be an area they'll be looking at. But in the meantime, a year, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Other news concerning the players that might move on, it would appear that David Luiz might be on his way to Benfica. That seems to be the strong rumour out there. What's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, look, David Luiz, let's be honest, has been pretty good this season. You know, you have to give credit where credit's due. For £8 million, he's been all right. Last season, I didn't think he was so good. This year, I think he's actually been quite good. Apparently, he's very influential in the dressing room as well. I just think now Arteta wants to bring in younger defenders. You know, Saliba's back next season. It's probably time to promote him. I think Luiz wants first-team football as well. I don't think Arsenal can offer him that. Listen, I think I would, if he leaves with the best wishes. I think he's given everything to Arsenal. He's been committed. He's been pretty good this season. We paid £8 million for him, you know, and I would probably say it's best to part ways with him now. He's 34 this year, so, you know, he's done okay, but I think, good time.
No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I mean, I actually think he's probably our most talented centre-back even now. He didn't set the world on fire last season, and this season he's been better. But I know even this season he's only played 17 games for us in the league. So, yeah, I think the time's come where, you know what I mean, a mutual parting of ways is probably best. And he goes with our good blessing. Another guy that I'm sure is going to go with all of ours good blessing is... is one Hecky Becky, aka Hecky B, Hecky Bizzle.
Hecky Bizzle. Oh man.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm hearing strong rumours that he's on his way to PSG. Listen, man, he's never been my favourite player for a number of reasons. But listen, I'm not going to say too much, bro. I'm not going to say too much because anyone who watches his show on an even semi-regular basis knows how I feel about the guy. It's probably not right for me to talk too much on this one, but I'm going to put it over to you. Hector Bellerin, what's your thoughts? Should he go? And what do you think of his time at Arsenal as a player?
I mean, there's a lot more trees in London thanks to Hector Bellerin anyway, so that's one positive.
One of his objectives.
Yeah, man, you know what I mean?
Greener London.
Greener London. No, listen, it's time for him to go, man. I think he's been at the club, 7 years he's been in the first team. Yeah. Look, he's fully committed to Arsenal. I think he's always cared about the club, but he's not good enough anymore. He's not good enough. He's so frustrating to watch his crossing, and I think I don't even think he's the athlete he used to be. You know, he used to be very quick. I don't think he's quite...
he reckoned he could take on Usain Bolt a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but no, listen, Bellerin's time's up, man. We need a better right back, and I think he will leave this summer. I honestly do.
Yeah. I think that it's looking more and more likely, isn't it? But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to say too much, man. I've said
if you speak, you're in big trouble. So
no, you know what it is, man. I mean, I've said all I'm going to say on this guy. Like to say that I don't rate him, and I think it's a mutually beneficial thing for him to leave. And I think, you know what, if he does go to PSG, listen, I think he's done well out of that deal, bro.
He has.
You know what I mean? PSG are a good team. They're going to win things domestically. And they're always going to be in the Champions League, and they're a very high-profile club with some great players in that club, you know. And he might go in there and do well. So, you know.
He might, yeah. Because, I mean, Paris Fashion Week is massive as well, you know.
Listen, I'm sure he'll make his mark in that regard, man. You know
he will. He will.
Centers of the world, I'm sure he'll have a lot to offer them. You know what I
mean?
Yeah. But yeah. Okay, then. Right. Thanks for that. So, moving on then, our ops of the week. We should go through that briefly. There's no game at the weekend, but we do have a game the following Wednesday. Another London derby, midweek game against Crystal Palace away. Just go through some receipts as to where we are in the table. We're currently 9th, 46 points. Actually, I'm not sure about 46 points. But anyway, Crystal Palace. What do you think, bro? Could be Roy's last game as well, I'm hearing.
Yeah, they're saying
there's news filtering out from Palace that they're about to announce that he won't be there from next season. So
yeah,
and this will be Palace's last home game, so could be his last home game for the club. So yeah,
well, they'll be fired up for it because I know Roy's very popular there. I think Frank Lampard's favourite to get the job as well, they're saying. But
that's what I'm hearing as well, actually, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with Palace, man, you always know that like Zaha's going to turn into like Ronaldinho when he plays against us, and Benteke will become Drogba. And, you know, we haven't got a great record at Palace.
No, we haven't. No,
we haven't got a great record there. So they haven't been great this season, Palace. I think, like you said, man, Arsenal, we need to get 6 points from our last couple of games to have any outside chance of getting in Europe. So we've got to go there and turn them over. But it is a difficult game. It will be a tricky game. It's not an easy place. I suppose with no fans there, it's a little bit easier because it's usually a very loud stadium.
Yeah.
I think we're going to beat them. I do. I think No Pressure FC will be at it again. I think we'll beat them 2-1, man. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm optimistic that we're on a little good run of form. The players look like, you know what I mean, they've got a little bit of confidence back, put it that way, following the humiliation of the Europa League exit. So I'm glad that they've had a couple of wins, and they do seem to be enjoying it. I have to say, I'm seeing a lot of smiles out there, and celebrating goals. I mean, that was a nice touch, though, when Willian scored, wasn't it, for all the players to gather around. And that was nice
because I think within the dressing room, you know, they'll be very happy for him to score that goal. And let's be honest, even as fans, whether we like Willian or not, or we believe he shouldn't be there, there's a good chance Willian will be at Arsenal next season. So instead of us just annihilating him all the time, sometimes you just got to say, you know what? You've been so bad this season. Surely next season you can't be any worse than this. You know, surely the only way is up. So we'll have to see.
I think his agent played a blinder when they secured that contract.
Oh, that pension that he got at Arsenal.
And I think it's also fair to say that there won't be a list of clubs banging down Arsenal's door willing to take him, especially on the kind of money that he's on. So, yeah. So let's hope that next season for him will be a better one than this season. But then you could say the same for a whole host of players. While we're on that, what did you think of Aubameyang's reaction to getting subbed? He's coming for a bit of criticism in some quarters, not for the first time this season. I must admit, I mean, like, I'm team Aubameyang, so I know people are going to say I'm biased, and I probably am. But I did feel for him the other day, man. He was a lone furrow up front, weren't getting any service. He did put in some good defensive work, actually, in that game. He worked his socks off, and his reward for that was to get dragged off.
Exactly, yeah.
And then suffer the humiliation of having to take the armband off and give it to somebody else. But so people are saying that they didn't like his reaction to being subbed and all the rest of it. What was your thoughts on that? I mean, you're a striker. Give us your insights on what it's like to play on your own up front, put all that work in, and then get subbed by the manager about 10 minutes ago. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
You know what it is, Laurie? That shift that Aubameyang was doing, you know, running around, like you said, the lone wolf. You do that with the hope that in the last, you know, in football, a lot of goals get scored in the last 10 minutes. So as a striker, you want to be on the pitch in those last 10 minutes. I don't think it was just a case of that game why he was so frustrated. I think it's a culmination of previous games. Number one, he's the star player at Arsenal. Number two, he's the captain. Most clubs don't take their star player and captain off on a regular basis. You know, you didn't see Vieira or Roy Keane taking their armband off every week and giving it to someone else. So he's probably sitting there going, you know, I've done so much for this club. Okay, he hasn't been good this season for a number of reasons. But he's constantly being taken off, you know, played on the left, played on the right, dragged off, you know. So, listen, I've got no problem with the frustration. It's not like he threw the armband on the floor and told the fans to F off like a certain Mr. Granit Xhaka did a year or so ago. No player should be happy getting substituted, you know. It's different if you scored a hat-trick and you're clapping everyone. But when you haven't scored, you've ran around, you're frustrated, then you get dragged off. You got to take the armband off. Naturally, you're going to be frustrated. So I don't make too much of it. You know.
I share your views on that entirely. Yeah, and let's be honest. Had he come off and he'd have been smiling and high fiving, people would have said, "Oh, look at him! He couldn't wait to get off."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to get
That's
back in
it.
his Ferrari and his 350 grand a week. You would have heard all those kind of comments.
Yeah,
So you can't
100%.
win, really. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I do feel a bit sorry for Aubameyang because last season and even previous to that, he'd been carrying the club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This season he's had an indifferent season. Actually, well, let's go a bit further now. It's been poor by the standards he set.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, there have been a few mitigating circumstances in there, but overall, it's not gone well for him. But I've been a little bit disappointed at the amount of people that are going in on him. You know, I mean, we, as a fan base, I'd have liked to have seen us show him a bit more support, a bit more love.
Yeah.
But I guess that goes with the territory these days, man. You know, what I mean, it's either hero or zero, and that's it.
Yeah.
Remember last season,
no middle ground.
saying like he carried the club on his back, and
yeah.
you know, if Aubameyang's not in the team, what we going to do? You know what I mean? Sign the ting, because if you don't sign the ting, when he did sign it, it was like, oh, it's like we signed another player. And everybody was hooping and hollering and cock-a-hoop. For whatever reasons, some of them are documented. It hasn't gone well for him this season. It happens. But instead of him getting a bit of love and a bit of support,
he's getting hammered.
He's getting hammered. And it would appear even the manager's kind of losing patience with him. Because like you said, man, I mean, when he got subbed in the Villarreal game, I was like, scratch, man, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, we need a goal. And let's be honest, as poorly as the guy has been this season, he's probably the one player in the team that's going to likely to get you a goal. In fact, about a minute before he came off, he actually hit the post with a decent effort. So I don't know what's going on there, man. I don't know, but he definitely didn't look happy when he was being taken off.
And I can understand.
For the world to see.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, let's hope that he has a decent end to the season and he can turn things around. I think it's important for us going forward that he does rediscover some form, and I'm hoping that he does. Yeah. But okay, bro, listen, I said at the start that we were going to keep this short and snappy, and I intend to do that. So we're now coming to the end of the show. I've enjoyed talking to you as I always do. So thanks for coming on and giving your honest and forthright opinions as usual. Tell the people where they can find you, bro. I always ask you that.
Yeah, man, Curtis Shaw TV, daily uploads, you know, watch-alongs, all of that, people. Come and check it out.
Nice one, nice one. And to all the people watching, man, we truly appreciate your support. The show's doing good numbers, and we're really appreciative of that. And keep sending us your messages, man, in your comments. I really enjoy interacting with that side of the show as well. So please keep doing that. Thanks for tapping in, man. I want to say special shout out and happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there who watch the show and who support the channel. And suffice to say, man, smash the like button, share the video, keep yourselves healthy, well, safe and COVID-free. And we see you next week. We're out.